I'm going to touch on origin, insertion, and then I'm going to go vertical and then horizontal. Some people might want to be in that position. What?
I don't think I want Chris in that position. Could you do this on a table?
Yep, yep. I would just sit on the side of the table. It's the exact same thing. So just think it like this is the end of the table right here. My legs are just hanging off. Works totally the same. I'll show you when we go to do it, because we'll be in the chair, and right when we finish in the chair, I'll hop on there and I'll show you what it looks like.
You can't be standing next to the table and do it?
Well, you could do it with a cylinder. Yeah. You need the cylinder on the table, and then you can walk around the table. That's totally fine. I've never done it myself. So I touched on origin. I'm coming just from the side of that temporal bone. Don't go crazy. Don't go too crazy when you are going on the occipital ledge right now, because this is the temporal bone, and if you go really deep on the temporal bone right now, you won't be able to do the occiput super thoroughly after when we're in the chairs. So after I touch on origin and insertion, so I'm just coming off the ledge of that temporal bone to where all this connective tissue is coming up and attaching. And then I'm going to vertically pull along the side of her neck. And at times, like if I placed my hand here and she was like, I would know that her lymph is swollen because I can feel this little lymph node right here. That's fine, I'm gonna avoid it. As I come down her neck, you have tons of little lymph nodes within your neck, but as long as you're not like touching and they're not like, it's sensitive, then I know I'd be like, mindfully work around it. Anytime there's like a lymph node that's inflamed, I just want you working around the general area. You have tons, but you have two directly right under here. You know when you get sick, mom puts her fingers, she pushes under here. You go, oh, they're sore when I'm coughing. That's when like you're gonna feel these lymph in here. But you have tons of little lymph that come down the neck. And then you have tons like, no, your tonsils are inside or so right there. And then underneath these little balls that you feel, like it's more softer tissue, you might kind of just jump over them. And they don't stay stationary. They kind of just like jump back and forth. They're not moving around, but it shifts. And then that's gonna be your little lymph node. So I'm vertically shaving along the side of the sternocleidomastoid and then the scalene muscle that comes in here. I want to have my guide hand on the like mandible, the bottom of the jaw, because I don't want to be like smashing into it. The bone banging is like, this is where we need really pinpoint and scaling work, guys. Very sensitive area. So I worked vertical about as far as I possibly could, and now I'm going to go horizontal, where my guide hand just changes, my working elbow, that windshield wiper changes, and now I'm scooping through the striations of the scalene muscles into those sternocleidomastoids. And you can go back to vertical if you'd like, because it's just constantly playing that windshield wiper. And this is going to be 15 minutes on one side, 15 minutes on the other, so it's 7 minutes this direction. And then I'm going to flip myself over. This is where, if you want to try if you're not flexible enough today and you guys go to come in, I'll do it quickly and then I'll show it with my left. But if I come in, I place in, and see, this is where I say like your pelvis is still like away from them. They're not really like in your groin. And so now shoulders down. I already touched on the origin insertion, and I'm scooping up here, scooping up. Vertical, pivot a little bit to come horizontal. And my guide hand is just covering the side of that trachea to make sure I'm not going to whack into it. See, she's very thick by her occipital ledge. Like, that's the worst part, I would say, on her neck that I'm feeling. So that's how it would look with my right leg. If you're like, oh, I just can't do that with my hips, just try your left. So she's gonna lie, and then it's gonna be vertical, but give your left a shot. If you're not flexible and it's like, no, it's super awful for me, throw that left in there. You're gonna go vertical once again. And horizontal. When I go horizontal, always you saw, I just went to like another 20 degrees, opened up. After I feel like I was thorough with that, took me about 7 minutes roughly. I'm gonna stop, little effleurage massage to calm her down. I'm gonna flip her over and she's gonna face the other way. I prefer my right leg. You're good. You're good.
So you're not going right up behind the ear yet, right?
I touched on that origin insertion already.
No more than that.
No, because we're gonna be doing, like, if you felt it was very built up and you're just doing their neck, come a bit into that occipital bone. But we're doing occipits right after we do neck. So I don't want us to, like, I want you to just touch on the origin insertion quick, move along, and focus on the neck itself. So I'm gonna replace her neck because I can feel I can elongate it more. I definitely can. This is where I'll touch because it's a new side, origin, insertion, and then I'm gonna work vertically along her sternocleidomastoids, and then I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna try to scale with that extension from her scalene muscles back. Touch on the origin, right by C7, but I'm not gonna be on C7, I just wanna be in that kind of shoulder girdle area. Touched on cervical 7. I'm going to come up, touch on that occipital ledge. Come off the ledge by the temporal bone to where everything's inserting at. And I'm just going to work vertical right now along the side of her neck. Once I've worked vertical, then I'm going to go horizontal and pull everything scooping in towards me. Beautiful. So once I feel like I was thorough with that, last time, flip myself around and pull everything down and in towards the trachea area. Flip back over. And then I already did origin insertion. And so vertical, pulling everything down, down, down. And then horizontal. Yeah, more flexion. And then extension when you come horizontal, because as soon as you start to deal with, like, anytime, like when I'm working through this way, you can have more flexion and plow through. But if you're really wanting to kind of 45 as much as possible, more extension, because there's going to be more striations to the muscle tissue. And if you have too much flexion, that pointy elbow will just be like doink, 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 jumping over. Scooping everything in. Wonderful. Once I feel like I was thorough with that, we're just going to finish off with the last techniques, and that's just going to be neck grip, occipital release, and scalp scrub. So she's just going to lightly rotate over to her back. I'm just going to fix this. No, you're good. I'm gonna fold this towel up just a little bit for her head. You can lift up, perfect. So, you can't really see it because my hands are gonna be behind the neck, but it's literally this. I'm just interlocking my fingers. The pads of my hands are going to be pressing into like that occipital ledge. So if I bend my neck down and I'm gripping, I'm just putting pressure here, and I increase the pressure, and then I slowly release that pressure. And I'm gonna do that like 3 to 5 times. Then I'm gonna massage just kind of like a mid-thoracic spine, upper cervical spine to that occipital ledge, and you can feel the ledge at the base of your skull. But I'm gonna make my fingertips nice and strong, and I'm just gonna hang out right at that occipital ledge for about 30 seconds to a minute as the tissue softens, and then I'll just finish with a nice scalp scrub. So coming underneath, my fingers are interlocking first, and as her head is resting, I just like get into pressure, I increase, I hold, I let go, increase, hold, let go, and squeeze and hold, and let go. Massage from the thoracic spine. And I'm just kind of going like this with my fingers underneath, just massaging up. Once I get to that occipital ledge, I'm allowing my fingers, I'm gonna remove the towel now. So much hair. I'm going to hang out with my fingertips on that occipital ledge, and I want the weight of her skull. So it's like relax, get into the breath. And she was holding a little bit for me right there, and now I feel the weight of it. So a lot of times your clients will try to like assist you, and it's like, just stop, just like dead limit, and just let me just kind of control it and move it around a little bit. So I'm allowing my fingertips just to sink into that suboccipital space. Hang out for a moment. Pull on the ledge a little bit, and then just come out and finish with a nice scalp scrub. And we always go deeper to lighter at the end. And that is the whole neck. That's a very thorough neck. So we do chair first, and then the ground. Some clients start on the ground, then go to the chair. There's no right or wrong, but I normally like to get the chair out of the way. I can get more done on the sides when we're on the ground.
So the chair part, could it be done somehow on the mat?
Very minimally. The chair is important to have. If you're gonna be a practitioner, why don't you have a chair? It's just upper back is very important to do on the chair, like very, because it sprawls them open. Neck is great because it elongates the neck forward, and you're getting more into the sternocleidomastoids and trapezius muscles. On the mat, you're gonna have like a hard time. It's like, oh, get 2 bolsters, try to have the one for both sides of their face. It'll be like you can do it, but not as good.
Get the stability too. Right?
Any other questions? Okay. 5-minute water bathroom break, everybody. Come on back. We're gonna partner up.